Reports Sunday indicate the Bengals are listening to trade offers on Trey Hendrickson. That's embarrassing. Let's break it down.
You are Locked On Bengals, your daily Cincinnati Bengals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What up, Bengals fans, and welcome to an extra episode of the Locked On Bengals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Jake Lisco, he's James Rapine, and we have you covered here on Locked On Bengals whenever there's breaking news and every day. The everydayers know it. You can make us your first listen as well by hitting that subscribe button on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. James, I think our game preview episode might still be premiering as we record this. So we have a game preview up, everything we're looking for in preseason game 2 right now, but we've been interrupted with Trey Hendrickson news. Multiple reporters, mostly I think led by Tom Pelissero and Ian Rappaport of NFL Network, indicating that the Bengals are listening to trade offers on Trey Hendrickson as negotiations have reached an impasse. And my intuition here, James, is actually that nothing has really changed. I'm curious about where this report is coming from. But even if nothing has changed, I think that's embarrassing that this report is out there. If they are listening to offers, I think that's even worse and indicates a worse handling of this situation than you could have imagined. What were your initial thoughts?
First things first, nothing has changed from a negotiation perspective. I know that. It's been so quiet. And so like, all right, well, he's here now. Like, don't you want to get him on the field? And I feel like, and I haven't talked directly to Trey's camp, but I feel like that's how Trey's camp approached ending the holdout and coming into camp was like, all right, maybe this will jumpstart things again. It hasn't. And so what does this mean? Is this what it was in March when it was, oh, well, yeah, we'll pick up the phone. Sure, seek a trade if you want to. You have our permission to talk to whoever you want. Is this cut from that same cloth, where the Bengals had no intention then of trading Trey Hendrickson, and now it's much harder. Let's start there. Like this idea, oh, I'll trade Trey. Good luck looking Joe Burrow in the eye. Like, yeah, we traded Trey Hendrickson for a second-round pick or any draft pick for that matter. Joe Burrow doesn't care about picks. He wants the guys on the field to get picks on defense and get stops on defense. And Trey Hendrickson, in his mind, helps them do that. So finding the path where this makes sense at this point on August 17th, 3 weeks away from the start of the regular season, it's a tough one. And it involves, like, I know Ian Rappaport said, oh, it could involve a young player and a pick. That young player better be like an awesome young player for the Bengals to be able to sell this to the team. And so from that perspective, I think it's a really tough ask. There were always very few paths where trading Trey Hendrickson made sense for a Super Bowl contender like the Bengals view themselves as at any point this offseason. But if they were going to do it, Jake, it would have been 5.5 months ago before free agency. That was the path. This path seems nearly impossible. You might as well just go play the lottery.
Doing it now would be, like you said, increasingly difficult. You have to find a team that's willing to pay the Bengals price. We know the Bengals' history of trading good players. They will hold and hold and hold until they can win the trade, even if that player, Carson Palmer, retires and is just totally sitting out. And if Trey goes that route, could play out the same way. Could. I'm not saying I think it's likely, but it could, and it shouldn't surprise anybody if it does, because they've done it with a higher profile player before. And Trey's a very high profile player. The Bengals did it with the star quarterback. The teams reportedly interested, according to Jordan Schultz, in trading for Trey Hendrickson include the Panthers, Colts, and Browns. The Browns would, I'm sure, be met with a brick wall if they picked up the phone and tried to trade for Trey Hendrickson if that offer didn't include Myles Garrett, which it obviously wouldn't. Looking at the Panthers depth chart and the Colts depth chart, maybe if the Colts wanted to give up Leatu Latu and a second or first round pick, the Bengals would say yes. But I don't think there's any world where the Colts are giving up last year's first round pick and a premium pick and an extension for Trey Hendrickson. I just
Quentin
don't.
Nelson. Quentin Nelson.
Sure, Quentin Nelson and a pick.
I would just do it for Quentin Nelson, but yes, fine.
We're talking about the Bengals here.
Yeah, sure, right? But that's so like pie in the sky, right? Jesse Bates, pie in the like that's just wild, and I'm just throwing him out there because I'm thinking like what trades would make sense. Micah Parsons, obviously, right? If you could do that, it would be great. You do that. You'd have to add multiple picks. I'd be shocked if the Bengals were willing to do that, even for Micah Parsons. Just knowing the Bengals, I think the Cleveland one's interesting because I think Mike Brown would hang up so fast.
Yeah.
But I, being the person that I am and the thinker that I am, it's not just a hat rack on top of these shoulders. Trey Hendrickson for Mason Graham. Who says no faster?
The Browns, I assume.
The Cleveland Browns, just to be clear, not the Browns.
Yeah. I think they're talking about a top 3, 4. What was he picked? 4, 3? They traded back, right?
5th overall. Yep, 5th overall.
5th. Okay. So I don't for the Bengals, they probably would want Graham and a pick. The Browns would probably say no, Graham's untouchable. And so like you're talking about an in-division trade. There's no way. It's a non-starter. Either way, the fact that we're at this point where it's either the Bengals are now open to a trade is one possibility here. More open to a trade than they were when they granted him permission to seek a trade earlier this year. If that's where they've gotten at this point, colossal mistake to not just get it done before the draft and acquire the assets then, like you said earlier. If it's not changed and their stance on trading Trey is exactly the same, and we got this report anyway, because like you said, the negotiations haven't progressed from a point where they had an agreement, supposedly, on the overall structure and the years, but couldn't get there on the guaranteed money. That's also bad. That means that despite him being there for a couple of weeks now, they've made no progress in negotiations. And that's what the reports today indicate. Jordan Schultz, again, indicating that the Bengals want to keep Trey. Hendrickson wants to stay in Cincinnati, but talks keep hitting a wall, was the quote that Jordan Schultz got. You can guess where that quote came from. There was some thought, like you said, that Hendrickson reporting to camp would help move things forward, but it just hasn't moved. No. And I kind of didn't think it would move. I've kept saying over and over that like if this goes into preparing for week 1 of the season, I wouldn't be surprised, but like that doesn't mean it's good. And now we have this, which no matter what your interpretation of this news is, I think it's bad for the Bengals.
And maybe this is Trey's last ditch effort, like from his camp.
There's no last ditch. He'll find another ditch
to try to. But by the way, I actually don't blame him. Like if this is just all Trey, like I don't blame him because it is August 17th, because the regular season is 3 weeks away, because it's not like he's spouting off at reporters every single week now. He's been in there and he's been helping. He's been trying to be that guy and be that leader. It's really uncomfortable to do that when you don't know if like there's two sides to every relationship, right? And if one's putting all this effort in and all this time, and that's probably how he's like, I'm going to go the extra mile. I'm going to go to camp. I'm going to help Shamar, which he's done. I'm going to help Demetrius Knight. I'm going to really try here to be a captain and a leader. But then the needle doesn't move at all. Like, open it up a little bit. I mean, what was it, July 22nd? I mean, it's almost a month ago when Mike Brown said, oh, well, I think something's going to get done with Trey. We're not going to trade Trey.
Yeah. I
don't think Mike Brown has changed that. I don't think that has changed. People in the building may feel differently or may be more open to it. And I don't know if that's true, but I would be stunned if Mike Brown woke up today and was like, oh yeah, but we'll listen to offers for Trey Hendrickson. It's just not what he does. It is not what he does. He is not going to say, oh yeah, well, let's listen to offers now. It's just not something that he's ever done. And so why would I think at 90 years old, he's going to feel differently now? And by the way, he shouldn't. At this point, the Bengals shouldn't be entertaining trade offers for Trey Hendrickson. What they should be doing is sitting at a desk like you and me are right now with Trey's representatives and hammering out a deal so he can get on this practice field this week, next week, and then as they prepare week 1 for the Cleveland Browns.
I'm okay with it if they're listening to preposterous trade offers, and if they get blown away, sure, they should be doing that. But
would you take Mason Graham?
Not straight up.
Okay. Just wondering. 5th pick. I just wondering.
He would help. I don't think I'd take him straight up. I don't know. Maybe that's wrong. Right now, I don't. Honestly, it doesn't matter what I would do. I would have paid him a long time ago. This is what I would have done. And this wouldn't be a conversation. But what matters is what they're asking for. If they get blown away, fine.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not going to happen. A team has to both give up players, picks, and the extension. Find me a team that's going to do that, and fine. The Bengals better get a return that's worth it.
Trey and a first for Micah. Trey and a first for Micah.
Assuming that doesn't happen, and it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Just get the deal done and save us from all this embarrassment. Save yourselves from the embarrassment. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous at this point. This keeps going on. Drama keeps getting kicked up. Nobody wants to hear about it anymore. And here we are talking about it again on Sunday.
On August 17th. Like
ridiculous.
And I'm saying the date because it's like, what? It's not February 17th. We're talking about August 17th. I agree. Pay him. The Micah and I get it. That stuff's not going to happen. It is intriguing to talk about in fantasy land, but we know better. When you made the decision not to trade him in March, that decision should have been it. It should have been over. We're going to
get it done at that point. Yeah.
Yep. And guarantees, man. The guaranteed money. Maybe they should have got Trey done before Jamar and T. And when all the stuff went.
Certainly should have beaten the rest of the edge market to the market. I think that is pretty undeniable. It's another one of those cases, and we've talked about it before, where they tried to save a nickel and instead they're paying $1 or whatever denomination it is. They tried to save a couple million and now they're going to be paying many, many more millions is the reality here. Or they're going to be paying with lost fan goodwill, lost quarterback goodwill, and a lost asset in Trey Hendrickson if this thing goes real sideways.
We're going to hear from Joe Burrow on Monday night after the game. Just saying.
And he's going to be asked about it, and he's going to be annoyed, and he's going to try to find a political way to answer the question, but that's not going to be nice.
Yeah, maybe he won't. Maybe this is the road game.
Well, we'll see if Trey goes. We're recording this before the team is traveling to Washington, or as the team is traveling to Washington, and we'll see if Trey Hendrickson is actually on the plane after this report on Sunday. We'll be back after that game. Monday Night Football, little bonus content here, little emergency content here. I'm reticent to even call it bonus. That's going to do it for this extra episode of the Locked On Bengals podcast. Until next time, thanks for listening. Hoo day, and have a good one.
Pay him the money.